Okay. We are back where we started, or not where we started, back where we left off in episode 2, where we were doing all of the grass strip landings here in Georgia. So, weather, not great, but we are going to do some time lapse over to Talladega, try to check out the racetrack. We'll fly over Birmingham. We'll see what they got to offer. We may land there and then fly around to whenever the weather's better. Trying to do this real-time weather. So as such, we will see how it goes. But maybe we get out of some of the weather whenever we start heading west. I've checked the fuel. We are at 79% on each side. We're currently set to be using the right fuel tank because I believe that's where we were at last. We're going to check flaps are down 1 notch. Good to go. We got full rich mixture, 100% on the props. We set in Talladega Municipal Airport just to give us a waypoint to head over that direction. We may actually make use of the autopilot this go around since we're doing a lot of kind of time-lapse footage. So anyways, we will see how it goes, but without further ado, let's get this bird off the ground. Let's check outside again. Looks like everything's clear. Okay, zoom out a little bit here, take off the parking brakes, give her some throttle to get her rolling, and not safe. Don't try this at home, kids. Okay, so we definitely have some wind here to deal with, but we are full throttle now. We are ruddering away from the wind, and we are off the ground. Flaps are up, should be good to go. We're actually going to try to get some more elevation than we typically do. We're normally cruising around 1,500 to 2,500 feet. We are in some pretty poor conditions right now, so we're going to try to get up and over 2,000 feet to do a little bit more IFR type work, and yeah, let's see how it goes for us. Climbing at a pretty fast rate right now, so looks like the barometric pressure is a little different than standard, which is always good to have, like not a challenge, but just something a little bit different than the bog standard. So got ourselves over, should be good for the course. May have overshot it a little bit, which is okay. But yeah, we are now at just over 1,900 feet and climbing. But we are not getting a ton of speed just because we're climbing at like 1,000 feet per minute. So, and we are in a headwind, a heck of a headwind. So let's try to climb up to 3,000 feet, indicated on the 2995 altimeter, not the MFD altimeter, which is not. I say it's not cooperating. I should probably just look it up, right? Like I have yet to learn how to alter the barometer on the MFD. So, we'll get up here to cruising up at about 3,000 feet, which is really not that high, to be honest. 3,000 feet's really not a lot, but we got got a 12, 13 knot headwind. We got lots of weather going on, poor visual conditions. So we're gonna try to get up here. Actually going to set our altitude. I say set our altitude. Yep, altitude to 3,000 feet. And actually, we're going to set it to about 3,100 because 3,100 is about okay. Throw the trim back down. Okay, because 3,100 is about 3,000 on the other altitude. We're definitely getting pushed around here. throw on flight director, nav mode, and autopilot. So this should start turning us over to the right a little bit. Yeah, we'll decrease altitude a little bit here to try to get down to 3,100 feet. I can throw on vertical speed or oh, that was our altitude select. For some reason, I did not see it whenever I was trying to see it. So now would be a great time for us to, once we're cruising here on course, we're gonna mess with our mixture. We've already pulled, yeah, we've already pulled that back a little bit, just to make sure we don't overspeed the props. Can't see a lot here. This might be a pretty poor time-lapse kind of flight, but nonetheless, we're gonna make do with what we have. Okay, so the winds significantly reduced at the altitude we're at right now, so should be good. About 25 minutes till we get over towards where we're going over in Alabama. I think we're where we want to be now. Let's work on. Okay, so we have our EGT at 1484. So let's start leaning it out. Let's leave it right there. See that increase until it levels out, and we'll do a little bit more. Also, it is starting to clear a little bit in some of our peripherals, so we may escape the weather. Just not quite there. So we're still climbing pretty slow. We're gonna pull out a little more. Okay, so yeah, we definitely started bumping those up. So we haven't quite peaked our lean mixture yet. Oh, starting to go back down. So I think about right here is gonna be, yep, that's gonna be about it right there. So we'll let that level out, and then you know, we got a little bit of a headwind, so I'm not surprised by our fuel consumption. But we are also at a little bit higher manifold intake pressure than we normally are, so we are gonna back it off to about 20. See where that gets us. I know we're gonna bleed some speed off. I'm hoping it's not too bad. If we can stay above 90, I'll be happy. But yeah, let's see, KCTJ, let's see what that is. West Georgia Regional. Interesting. Okay. And yeah, we'll probably help if I threw the flaps up. So that's my bad. Let's get back in here to talk a little bit. So yeah, that shouldn't affect our mixture so much, but it should improve our speed. Excuse me. Would not be a sim adventure video without me yawning. Wouldn't. So, all right. Well, we will sit here with some of the time-lapse footage and come back whenever we get closer. We appear to be heading towards better weather, which I'm hopeful for. I mean, last couple minutes, we definitely get some of the turbulence, but hopeful that we are in store for better weather. So, let's we're about 106 knots around speed, just around 100 feet. Point this out from Talladega Municipal. We'll see if we can find a racetrack, and then we'll go ahead and take you over to Birmingham. And if it's good, check out there. I'll fly around and we'll enjoy that. But yeah, not too bad so far. So, the whole entire thing, like it seems like it's right here. I think we're actually maybe not running out, but we get through all the forward conditions. So, we'll check out there. We're going to check out Talladega Municipal as well as the might take a quick minute to get some food and enjoy it. It's chilly, just kind of eat up, and so we'll go. Okay. We appear to be heading towards better weather, which I am hopeful for. I think, you know, last couple minutes we've definitely hit some of the weather, had a little bit of turbulence, but hopeful that we are in store for some better weather indeed. So, looks like we're at about 106 knots ground speed, just under 100 knots indicated airspeed. 20 minutes out from Talladega Municipal. We'll see if we can find Talladega the racetrack, and then we'll go ahead and continue over to Birmingham. And if there's anything good to check out there, I'll fly around and we'll enjoy that. But yeah, not too bad so far. It's I was concerned that the whole entire trip was going to be like it seems like it is right here, but I think we're headed towards clear skies, and we're going to actually gonna maybe outrun, maybe not outrun, but maybe get through all of the poor weather conditions. So we'll check back in whenever we're getting ready to check out Talladega Motor Speedway as well as the Municipal Airport. We might take a quick landing at the Municipal Airport, get some food and enjoy. It is getting a little chilly here, so just cabin heat it up, and yeah, so we'll be back. Okay, we are fast approaching, about 7 minutes out. Talladega Municipal Airport, and it does not look like the conditions have improved. Not sure on the weather. I mean, we got a rainbow back here, which is cool in its own right, but yeah, it doesn't look like the conditions have improved, and I know it's not incredibly entertaining, even the time-lapse kind of footage, to just be running through the clouds here with lots of rain. So I think what we're going to do is land here at Talladega Municipal Airport, and then we will see if we can get down to Talladega Motor Speedway or Super Speedway, and then we might go ahead and continue on, but I think we're going to try to gain a little more altitude. I think some of it's that we're just in the low clouds, so we'll check. That might not be the case. We may not be able to get up and out of it, but yeah, we will try that for now and see how it goes. And yeah, should be pretty close here to Talladega Municipal, KASN. Let's see, what runways? We got 4 and 22. We're gonna hit runway 22. 10 miles east. Okay, yeah, good deal. So if we're gonna do that, we're actually gonna try to use some of our procedures here. Procedures, approach. That's 4. We're gonna do, oh, there's only RNAV 22. There's no ILS 22. Interesting. We'll do that. And let's see what it's actually trying to take us to do here. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, whatever. I'm good with that. I am good with that. Let's check our fuel here. Another rainbow coming into sight. So cool. It looks like we're just over 15 on this one. We're gonna break our neck in some saw type stuff here, turning our head all the way around. So we're gonna run over to the left tank then. That should even some of our fuel load out. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this approach. I was honestly just gonna sort of VFR it in, but given the conditions, I think IFR type approach is going to be better. Announce our position here like that, and looks like some clarity up top. So this is what I'm saying. We may be between cloud layers if we go up a little bit, or we may get free and clear. So we'll land over here, and then we'll decide what we want to do on continuing forward. It may just be some more time lapse. May check out Talladega racetrack, and then yeah, go from there. And it looks like the municipal airport is like right by the super speedway. So, oh, look at this. It's clearing up. I was looking some things up, wasn't paying attention. Okay, this is great. This is great news. It looks like we're going to kind of get into this clearing, drop down low, and then and get over to it. So we'll see. Let's, while we have things that are kind of clear here, let's pull up the flight plan and see on this approach what they always have. Some of these altitudes kind of jacked up, so I hesitate to trust them sometimes. Let's go vertical speed. Oh, not yeah, I guess honestly, yeah, we can go vertical speed. That's fine. We'll get down there in about a minute. I meant to do indicated airspeed as our deal here, but we're good. That's fine. We'll get down to 2,400 feet for COSG, and then we'll go to SOFB and then runway 22. So we get to SOFB, we'll hit down to 1520, 200 feet from 1320, quarter mile if you don't know, 1,320 feet. Is that, can't tell if that's the runway or not. But I know the racetrack, I think, is right. If this is the runway, or if this is the airport, that's the racetrack. So we will see in a sec. Getting into some more cloud layers here. I should be making a pretty long sweeping turn here in a moment. Interesting. Okay. Still bleeding down to 2400. But man, it's a real bummer. I really want to know how to get this corrected. Because like we have a heading and altimeter or altitude select here, so why would it be here? And it's probably obvious. You all have probably been looking at it for the last like 2-3 videos, and I'm just missing it. But dadgum, it'd be cool if we could figure that out. Throw in a little more fuel here as we drop low. No, I'm surprised that we're losing any EGT value there. I figure with us getting closer to the ground, we should be actually looking to run a little bit richer. Okay, so are we gonna start turning here? Am I crazy? I was thinking this would be where we would. Okay, so what are we doing here? So we're definitely on nav mode. Definitely here. So we'll let it get to where these two, I guess, would intersect, and then we'll. So we are not, in fact, on heading. We are on nav mode. And our course should be set to GPS, so our CDI source is correct. So why is it that we are not turning? A little confused. That so even if we set this direct, we're not turning around. Okay. And autopilot is on. All the okay, so everything is on. Okay. We will just hand fly then. Which is cool. That's a little surprising. I won't lie that we're having that kind of issue, because the GPS seems to be indicating correctly, but the plane the autopilot just wasn't taking us there. So a little bit weird, but it's okay. Down to 10 on the intake. We're hardly burning any fuel right now. We'll try to get down to 1540 on the 3003 barometer altimeter. Altimeter. The one where the barometric pressure. The altimeter where the barometric pressure sets at 3003. Try to regain course here. There we go. And then we're gonna, I'm not sure if we have to do this or not, but let's do, okay. So let's see, we're gonna throw the autopilot back on. Let's see if she flies for, oh, sorry, no, not 2300. We need 1520, so we're gonna say 1500. Thought we were gonna stall there for a minute. Okay. Should we lean it out more? Nope. Definitely don't want to lean it out more. So we'll leave the mixture fairly rich then. We are really dropping speed. We don't have that much of a headwind, so it's a little surprising, but why? So we should be dropping. Man. GPS is just not, or not GPS, but the autopilot is just not operating as I expected. And it's probably something to do with me. Probably totally unrelated to the system itself. It's just a little bizarre, to be honest, that it's operating like this. Because we're at 1800. We're set. Here, flight level control. Autopilot is on. GPS is the source. 80 knot is supposed to be what we're descending at. We're not really descending though. So if we are bled back like pretty heavy. I mean, we're burning like basically no fuel. So, very interesting. I mean, the autopilot did come back to whenever we needed it to. And it looks like we might need to traverse this obstacle here, and we can hand fly over that if need be. But now it seems like it's dropping to 1,500 feet, and it's like it took a while or something. But whatever, we can make that work. EGT's definitely been dropping, but I'd rather be running it rich like we are right now than lean. So we'll keep that as is, keep flying the current course, and if we need to pull up, then we'll pull up. Okay, yeah, just making sure we're sitting down in the cockpit. So maximum fuel imbalance, 5 gallons difference between tanks. So make sure that we're pretty close here. We've been running on the left tank now, so that looks just under the 20 mark. That looks just over the 20 mark. So try to keep those balanced. Looks like we're gonna hit a cloud phase, which kind of sucks. Hopefully it's brief, but we will see. Boost our speed up a little bit here, like so. That ought to do. And we're gonna just go full rich just to keep her going nice and strong. But not too far out, about 3 minutes till we hit the airport area. And yeah, we'll bring this bird down. It is pretty here in Alabama. I wish it wasn't so rainy or such poor conditions, but you know, sometimes that's just what you got to work with. So let's check our flight plans, make sure it switches over whenever we hit Kajji. Although I did do it direct to the next one, so I don't know. I like on some of them where you have the let's see if it does it here. No, it doesn't. Okay. And I might be able to do a setting that makes it come up, but okay, maybe that'll work. I like where it tells you kind of the distance to the next waypoint. So we've completed this part of the leg. About 2 miles out from the next part of the leg. We're already at the correct altitude. We were actually a little low for this one. And honestly, we could come up 100 feet to satisfy the correct barometric pressure setting altimeter. But until then, we're going to keep on keeping on. I think we're going to be okay. Doesn't appear as though we're going to hit anything. This is the documented per the GPS, which I should go check secondhand on some charts, but we're going to trust it in this case. The documented altitude. So about 1.5 miles out from there, and then we will be on our way to landing. So once our GPS actually clicks over here to the next one, we'll close out this panel and we will start preparing to land. We'll throw the flaps down, bring down the throttle a little bit, and it looks like we're starting to see it come into play here and be in good shape. So we're going to be landing on runway 22. Currently heading 223, I think, because we got a crosswind here, which should make the landing a little more exciting. It's not a super egregious one, but it's enough to make a difference, especially in a light aircraft like this, and a tail dragger nonetheless. Which I keep saying that may not be a big deal to other people. To me, tail dragger, that just seems more difficult. Like, trying to land a Cessna 172 on here, not too bad. Like drop the rear wheels down, you're good to go. You know, and a CJ4, again, not too bad. Just drop the wheels down and go. Trying to get these tail draggers successfully landed, I struggle a little bit. So let's confirm here we are one level of flaps down. We're gonna try to maintain altitude a little bit here. We've already drifted over to the right, which you can see that's why they actually had us directed a little bit over about 223 headings. So we're gonna just gonna work the rudder a little bit and try not to drop too much. Again, we're about 1.9 miles out. Just wanna come on over. We'll start descending a little bit more. Not a lot more, but just a little bit. About 1.5 miles out.
500.
Continue on. We are fairly low. We're just gonna keep the nose up here. Start aiming for that runway. Oh yeah, starting to see it visually, just a hair. And oh, okay, so we're a little bit short on it. A little bit short, so we'll keep that nose up again. I think right now we're trying to fight that crosswind. We're just gonna keep our current trajectory, let it sink us in here. Not even gonna worry about a second notch of flaps. That's what I typically would do for grass strip landing, since we have such a short run. Throw a little bit of power just so we don't drop it down too hard. Oh. Okay. So smoothest landing? No, but adverse conditions and all things considered, I'll take it. So we'll taxi off here. We're gonna just pause here. And let's clear a runway. And yeah, so obviously conditions are not ideal. So we will make an attempt. We will make an attempt to check out the speedway, but if we are unsuccessful in actually locating, I say locating, it should be just like over here. But if we're unsuccessful in locating it, then we may just continue on to Mississippi and try to get out of the weather here. And we are going to try to get up and over it as well. But some nice S-turning, trying to see in these tail dragon planes. Throw the flaps up just for simplicity's sake here. But no, the brakes are just man, ever since changing over to having them as an axis, which I'm not sure why I didn't do it in the first place. Maybe I didn't see the setting, but since changing over to that, just Much improved grass strip landings. I mean, here it may not have looked pretty, and I won't claim that it was, but it was manageable. So. Like right here, instead of me having to go full brakes and wait for it to like lock up and try to like pump the brakes, I can just nicely and easily taxi over. Right here, we'll just come to a nice stop. We have taxied to the runway. We're good to take off. So. We'll do that, and we will try to find... We're going to throw the flaps back down, but we are going to try to find... here. It's apparently, like, immediately west of the airport. So as a matter of fact, like, just as a secondary deal, and we will line up correct on the runway here. Let's drop down. So... we're gonna set this Johnny all the way just direct south. Cool. Oh. Woo! That headwind really pops the plane up pretty quick. All right, let's get up off the ground here. All right, so supposedly it's like right here. There's what looks to be an old soccer field. Oh, wait, south. What am I doing? Oh, directions are hard. What was I thinking? It's supposed to be immediately west. I'm not sure why I thought south. Not my oh, speaking of which, I see it on my third monitor here. Boom! I'm not sure what I was thinking. South. Just get me out of here. Get me out of here. So this is Talladega Super Speedway. Let's go take some laps around the track. What do you say? Flaps are up. We're ready to go. Now, I don't know, admittedly, I don't know much about this track, and I don't follow a ton of NASCAR, but I know that there's always the big one at Dega, hitting the banking. Oh yeah, you can see the infield walls, the safer barriers. You can see the tunnel where all the semis and cars come in. Come down the front straight here. I guarantee we could land here though. Looks like it's got like a... Okay, I think they call it a dog leg. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like the Monster Energy and 500, the Dega 500. Markings there, you got pit lane. Oh, man. I have a silly, but an idea, nonetheless. It's a silly idea, but I'm about it. So, we're going to do that. I'm going to move that prompt so that it doesn't come up on screen every time. So, let's go ahead and boost the throttle here a little bit. Looks like the RV parking that you would have during a race. I haven't actually seen Dega when it's set up for a race, but I know in Texas Motor Speedway, woo, if you're around there, traffic, not ideal. Not ideal at all. Traffic's pretty rough in that area, but they have a Buc-ee's. If you're not familiar with Buc-ee's, excellent gas station. It's got like a cult following. I wouldn't say that I'm like a Buc-ee's fanatic, but I do appreciate the fact that it's always clean, it's good prices on stuff, it's massive, and there's like 100 bajillion gas pumps, so that's always fun. Okay, here we go. We are going to take ourselves for a spirited lap around Talladega Super Speedway. Drop down here in the bowl. Alright, coming down the front straight. Hitting the straight banking. Right past pit lane. And because it's not like a simple oval, not sure on the turn numbers. I'm a turn 1 through 4 kind of guy if it's gonna be an oval. And I'm assuming that this has got like 5 or 6 turns. So we're just gonna say turn 1 here. Ooh, yes, heavy banking. Heavy banking. There's a daggum building on the track. What? I damaged my landing gear. I'll have to review the replay there. Let's actually do that. What an experience. Super fun. I can't recommend enough to try to go to a racetrack on Flight Sim. And run around. I think Talladega, and again, I'm not a big NASCAR person, so I don't know. I've driven around the track and it is massive. Like, it is ginormous, but it's probably a little bit easier on these big tracks. I imagine it's kind of difficult on, you know, like Eldora dirt track, right? Like, it's probably a little bit less straightforward, a little bit tougher, but it's just an awesome place. That was so much fun. Didn't intend on doing that. The idea just kind of came when I got here, but I love it. Definitely love it. I've seen people who've done like the Nürburgring and everything else, which is really, really cool. But yeah, let's see if we can get up in the clouds and start heading west towards Mississippi. I was gonna go through Birmingham, mostly because I didn't expect, as much as I love racetracks, I did not expect Talladega to be such a fun adventure. And as we go through some other states, if we find, looks like so clear up there, if we find some other really good racetracks to go to, then by all means we'll check them out and go to them. But yeah, that was a blast. We're gonna try to ascend here. As a matter of fact, I think what we're gonna do, we're going to go heading mode. Just click that. Heading mode, flight director, autopilot, and altimeter we're gonna set up here at like probably 4,000 feet if possible. We're gonna go indicated airspeed. Try to keep it around 95. And yeah, we're at exactly heading 270, which is west. Let's do this real quick. Nope. I'm gonna go back to GPS just in case we decide to use that. Let's do, okay, so we got a wind coming against us and pushing us north, but that's okay. We can leave that as is. So we're not climbing super fast, but that should be okay. I think we're going to continue climbing, try to bust through the clouds, not have a bunch of weather deterring us, and that should be good news. I think actually we're gonna try to hit 6,000 feet. It's gonna take forever, right? Like, this is not the greatest plane for it. We're gonna go increase that a little bit, which should help. Should help the rate of climb, but yeah, let's check how we're doing on fuel. So we're under the 20 mark there, just over the 20 mark there. Okay, so we will hold off on changing those over. I think we're currently, yeah, left fuel tank. Honestly, I think since it's easy to measure, we actually will go ahead and adjust that to the right tank. I wouldn't typically do it, but because of where this one's at, being just below that 20 mark, it's so easy to check, and I'd rather just do that. But look how beautiful it is down in Alabama. Our rainbows everywhere, rainbows and sunshine. That's what it's all about. Check our barometer here. Drop this down to 30.04. Good to go there. Looks like our prop speed is in good condition. We'll throw that cabin heat bag down. Let's check and see what our lean peak is going. Well, I say that, you know, we'll hold off until we actually get up. This snaking river here, reminiscent of the Mississippi. I don't know if it is or not, but it's reminiscent of it. Let's see. If you're at Dega, or how far? Okay, so we actually probably will pass over. That's not the Mississippi, just in case anyone was curious. That is the Coosa River. Looks like we actually will probably go near Birmingham. I don't know if we're gonna go immediately over it, but I think we're just gonna pass through until we can get to Mississippi. And once we cross the state line, probably around Columbus, then we'll readjust. gonna try to get us an indication of how far away that is. So if we go into here and we go to menu, destination, KUBS. Whoa! Oh yeah, okay. That is Columbus Lounge, so that is 100 nautical miles, so that is going to be a bit of a trek. Let's actually see if we go over here, if we can find us, you know, one of our favorite grass landing strips. Ooh. So this is going to be on the eastmost side of Mississippi. Ooh, let's see, maybe we can find a really good landing strip over by the lake. Anything good around here? Anything? Anything good around here? Yay, nay? Maybe not? Okay. So there's plenty of places. I'm really surprised there's none up there. Okay. We will then choose to, is there anything? Eh. Okay. We will choose to go to M51 then. So it'll be a little bit further. M51. Octobehe. Octobehe. Never heard of it. Interesting. Very cool, but never heard of it. Okay, so that is our destination. We're an hour out, 120 nautical miles. We're still climbing, still in the climbing phase of our deal here. It looks like, I don't know if we're actually going to breach the clouds, but yeah, no, we should get close. I mean, we got another 1,000 feet to go, so we're trying. This poor plane's doing all she can. But until then, we're going to want to ensure that we are about even on our fuel consumption. It looks like the left tank's right on the money, so should be burning out of the right tank now. As soon as we get to cruise altitude, I think what we'll do, we'll reduce our prop RPM just so we don't overspeed it once we level out, because we're still nose up a little bit, as much as we can be to try to climb and not lose that airspeed. I mean, we could do a little blip and go up, and then we're gonna have to gain it all back. So I guess I could reduce this to like 90 if I wanted to increase our vertical ascent, but 90 is fine. We can leave it there. We'll hit 6,000 feet, reduce the prop RPM once we level out, lean the engine down a little bit because our AGTs are under 1,500. Once we get over 1,500, we'll try to fine tune it a little bit. I don't suspect it's going to be like precise science, but we'll leave the map as is, where we can see. I don't know if we're going to leave it where we can see both. Whoa. What a weird... What is going on? We're flying somewhere crazy. Okay, that's pretty insane. So we're gonna leave it about right here. Course is 272 heading, so we will go 27... What? Why can't I just go one click heading-wise? Interesting. So we'll alter our heading since we're on heading select and not nav mode, just to be congruent with what our course is. And we're already pretty on target for the course, which is great. We're starting to approach our cruising altitude. We did breach the clouds. Yes, we're going to be just at the top of them, so we should still have to go through a little bit, but sounds like we're over the thunderstorms, and that should be good. So we could go another 1,000 feet. I think we're going to leave it and just kind of cruise through the clouds and enjoy that. So now that we are at cruising altitude, we're going to reduce our prop RPM just ever so slightly. So we're not going to overspeed. Then let's check this. So we're going to start here. We are definitely going to need to lean it out a little bit more because we haven't been flying at this altitude, so we're going to need to get some more air up in this engine, maybe even a little more than that. That's going to be like pretty aggressive lean mixture there. But you can see we're increasing speed as we decrease the amount of fuel that we're spending, which is great. Being here at about 8 gallons per hour, and I have not even, we're going to do something else. We're going to throttle back here to about 20 on the intake manifold. Is this increasing or decreasing? Or okay, so starting to decrease. Let's put a little bit more fuel in. Okay, a little bit more fuel helped a little bit. And we'll find our lean mixture. Honestly, cruising at this fuel burn, at this speed, we're good to go. We're an hour out, 115 nautical miles. Cruising at a good speed. I'm pretty happy. So yeah, let's hit some cinematic kind of coverage and enjoy. let's see how things are going. We also need to change wings. I figured about 7 gallons per hour. For the time we've been flying, it's probably about time to change which wings. We're just 20, we're at under 15 there. So we're gonna go to the left wing. Left wing, and we are 55 miles from this little airstrip, which should be pretty cool. Still flying through the clouds. It sounds like it's still thundering, but it looks much, much better. I'm tempted to come down from the clouds, but given that we're still 54 miles out, I think we're gonna stay where we're at. But man, barometric pressure needs to come down a little bit, like so. Yeah, it's been crazy. That's made some good progress, and crazy how the weather is like still lightning, but looks so clear up top. I'm assuming underneath it's not so clear. But man, beautiful plane, beautiful day. Enjoy the. This may not be a lot to most people, but to me, we got some modular brakes here. So, very exciting. Anyways, let us see here. I think we can actually start zooming in a little bit. And we are just on heading, so we will back the heading down a little bit to the left to stay on board with the course. We're certainly north of the course, but that's okay. This is going to be just west of Mississippi and Alabama border, so it won't be deep in Mississippi, but should be there. Should be a good place to end. You know, had a pretty good time in Alabama around Talladega, doing some tomfoolery. But yeah, should be good. We'll get over to Mississippi. We'll land. Talk about the next plans. We'll. I think we're gonna do a little bit of research into the Mississippi to Louisiana trip. You know, like if we continue going west, I know going on the road at least, if we're driving through, I would typically go through Mississippi. And end up at some point going through Alexandria, Louisiana, which is where some of my family actually grew up. But we will see. The odds, always. We will see if, you know, that's a fairly long way from, like the Shreveport, Alexandria area. It's a fairly long way south to go down to New Orleans, but we may do it. We may head south, go hit Houston, go hit Austin and San Antonio, come up to Dallas, and yeah, we'll spend some time there, maybe. This is all tentative, but we'll do a real plan for going from Mississippi down. So we may go over to Shreveport, check out the casinos, and then, like I said, head down south, hit Shreveport, maybe follow the coast. Maybe we go VFR across the coastline, all the way to Houston, and then maybe land around the Katy area, maybe do something like that, or see if there's any coastal landings that look fun. And then, like I said, go down to Austin, San Antonio, head up north, and then from there, we'll pick what we want to do next. If we want to go through Oklahoma, Nebraska, anything like that, going straight up north in the Midwest, we can do that. Or we can go straight west, cover the vast desert wasteland of West Texas, where there's some great deer hunting, if that's what you're into. And go out towards New Mexico. Hit New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada. I say Nevada. Yeah, Nevada, I guess, and then California or Utah, Colorado. Those, I imagine, will have some amazing flying. So we may actually do a whole, like, big square four, you know, where the New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado locations all meet. And yeah, enjoy that kind of area. Until then, let's see here. I think we're gonna start working on a descent. So we are going to go down here, let's say 3,000 feet. We're gonna go indicated airspeed, and we're going to drop the power back. That way we have to dip the nose at a fairly aggressive rate. Yeah, and then we'll lighten up our fuel burn and get through the clouds pretty quick. Yeah, 15 and 20, we definitely want to be burning out of that left fuel tank. So per this plastic no smoking sign here, don't want more than 5 gallons in balance. So not sure if we clipped that or not, but we definitely don't want to either continue to do it or clip that. So it is starting to get a little more lightning-y as we go down under. Actually decrease that speed by 1 just to have a nice even 100. Reduce the risk just a hair more of overspeeding. And we're gonna drop the course actually down to 268. That way over time we start to bleed closer to our actual course line. Yeah, 24 minutes till our arrival, 43 nautical miles. Looks like here on the simulated terrain, not a like there's certainly elevation, doesn't look extreme though, which is good. And out in the distance we can see some water features, which I think is about where we'll start getting ready to plan our approach into M51. So let's actually see here. Flight plan, active flight plan. We're going to Otebeha. If anyone knows how to pronounce that correctly, let me know, because I do not know. Certainly getting some rain now, which we were not getting before, so we are getting into the weather down here. But yeah, making good time, making good speed. Knew that some of this was going to be a little bit of a grind, just given the distance and the speed of this airplane being fairly low. So, you know, we could jet set across the whole country in the time it takes us to get a couple states in this plane. But where is the fun and adventure in that? So, looks like some pretty neat scenery. More rainbows. Always good to have some rainbows around. But hopefully, hopefully I stop yawning. Hopefully we actually get to see this weather improve and get to enjoy some of the terrain and locations we're going to be around. Should be leveling out here shortly. As such, we'll let her get down a little bit. We're going to boost up to about 20 manifold intake pressure again, and we'll maintain this speed and everything else. So looks like we need to reduce our altimeter again, like so. Reduce that pressure reading. Okay. Okay. Not seeing any rain coming off the glass now, so maybe we're starting to get past it. Back there looks like a little wall of rain in this area, so may be outrunning it a little bit, but time to hit some cloud cover. And, yeah. My goodness, I have an eager German Shepherd here just ready to go outside, but sweet potato, you're just gonna have to wait a minute unless we do some more time-lapse footage. But I suspect that the time-lapse here is not going to be very enjoyable, just given it's largely through the clouds. We can actually take a little external look here. Not a ton of viewing going on here. So we'll hold off, and I'll just pet the old noggin here, buy us some extra time. But definitely burning some more fuel. Now that we've decreased, let's do a little experiment. So we've decreased altitude. We've definitely come down on the EGT temp. Let's push in, make the fuel mixture. Yeah, okay, so as we come down, and this makes sense, right? So the air gets thinner as you go up, which means you need more air in the engine, in simple terms. So we end up pulling the mixture lean to pull in more air, given how much more we need. And from there, we end up increasing this value. Well, on the inverse, as soon as we start to decrease altitude, the air becomes thicker, and then we start having too much air than what's most advantageous. So improving this EGT value is really a performance indicator. The fuel burn naturally is going to increase a little bit because we are pulling in less air and more fuel. Our mixture is becoming more rich, or more fuel filled. So a little bit of basic kind of engine, engine thoughts there. I did not actually press, I don't think, any button to make that happen, so it was a little strange. But yeah, we're just trying to make sure that whatever our EGT value is, that it's ideal. So like, started to give it more fuel, didn't seem to like that, so I've pulled it out a little bit and leaned it out a little bit more, and it seems to like that. So it may not always run at the exact same temperature that you found to be your peak at one given instant. It could be variable based on the altitude. So I suspect we're in a good spot with that right now. I think we've optimized it pretty well. Got a slow increase, which is good. I think that means we're in the right spot. And yeah, we'll just continue. 19 minutes, and it's starting to get some more weather again. I guess it's pretty spotty and on and off. A little lightning there, but man, starting to clear up a little bit. This would be awesome if we got clear skies all the way down to where we're headed. And if I could identify the water source here, that'd be even better, to give us an indication of what the weather's going to be like coming through. Because we're still getting a little bit of bleed off from the moisture outside. But man, oh man, would it be awesome if we got into a clear landing. We break through all the weather and get a clear landing. I'd super enjoy that. Not sure if this is any water feature or not. It's hard to tell when you're on the horizon look. That horizon view is tough to actually determine what some things are. But man, do we have a pretty view over here. Some beautiful farmland, timber trees. This is, I mean, it's very indicative of the actual trip here in Alabama. It is very wooded. Really, I have found along Highway 20 going to Atlanta, it is a very wooded area, like on the specifically on that highway. Now it's probably just in capturing the highway, and not actually necessarily wooded in those areas all the time. But I certainly have noticed that that's a defining feature, is that on either side you're typically seeing trees, and you get into some open spaces, like down by Talladega, for example. It's super open over there. You see all the way to the racetrack from 20, which is miles, I think, north of the racetrack. If my memory serves me correctly, when I'm coming to the East Coast, it is on my right side, which should mean that it's south of the highway, and highway is north of it. So, yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It's awesome. It's pretty great area to drive through. Super easy drive too. I will say, like the 14 plus hours that it normally takes for me to travel from Texas to the East Coast it's a pretty easy drive. I've had a couple that have been not, I wouldn't say difficult, just, you know, long. But the best trip I think I've ever had going to Texas has been, I rented a Mazda CX-9, and man, what a comfortable car. Very comfortable for that kind of trip. I never would have guessed, and incredibly affordable for the model. Like highest trim level, if you look in similar SUVs, the highest trim level is always so expensive, and on that car it seems to be pretty congruent with like a reasonable price tag. Looks like we just hit some pretty hefty turbulence there. Kind of knocked us off course. We're 5 degrees off right now. We're 3 degrees, but I have modified our heading to match our course heading because we are now in line with our actual course. So, or we will be if this plane will ever turn to the right. But anywho, we're starting to close in. It's a slow burn. Slow burn in this plane, but we are zooming as much as it'll let us, and man, oh man, I love the clear. It's so funny, like the terrain I get. Oh my, lightning. The terrain isn't necessarily like specific or spectacular, but it's just so nice to be out of the cloud cover and into some kind of clear skies. It's such a weird thing, you know. You go north of the cloud. I say north. You go above. You raise altitude over the cloud cover, and it's such a peaceful, like, you know, kind of euphoric, angelic feeling because you're high up in the clouds. You know, there's nothing, I guess, that translates so directly to being on the ground whenever you're that high up. So it's just a totally different. It's like you're out of this world, which is an incredible feeling, a very incredible feeling. But with that, you know, that's kind of a nice feeling. Whenever you're in the clouds, it's not that it's bad, and it's certainly different. But it is interesting that you are so, when you're in the clouds, it's almost like annoying. Like, let's be over the clouds or under the clouds. In the clouds, it's like can't see anything. There's the like safety aspect where like I can't see anything, so everything's IFR and you're doing your best. But there's also just like the practical like enjoyment factor. Where like I can't see anything, so this is kind of lame. You know what can I do here? Looks like the outer temperature is pretty hot, so we're gonna push that baby back in. But yeah, just an interesting thing to note. I'm curious on this. Huh. Okay, I don't know everything about that. I was just curious. What values down here would change. See if we need to rich up the mixture a little bit. Nope. Okay, so we'll leave it as is. Maybe a little bit leaned out, but not a ton. But man, oh man. Beautiful. So many trees. Just so many trees. It's like going to Florida is like a completely different thing. It's like there's water just everywhere. Like ponds. There's water in the on-ramps, water in the off-ramps. There's water everywhere. There's just no shortage of it. Which, to be fair, it's a peninsula, so I guess that makes sense. But man, it is so much water everywhere. Okay, it looks like I'm trying to think. I think it's a KUBS. I think is a county airport. Columbus Lowndes County, yeah. So we are Columbus Air Force Base as well. North Pickens, Hopper Field, Golden Triangle Regional, Lamar, McCharkin, Octobeha, where we're going, 20 miles out. headed 268. We're coursed at 270, but should be okay. Anyways, very cool. Monroe County, Lamar County. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're in here. We've been welcomed to the Columbus approach. Yeah, we are cruising for a landing. And we're going to see. I mean, now, you know, it's been a little while since we took off. Been a little while since I've been on the ground. We're going to have to see if your boy still got the brake skills, still got the landing skills. It would be incredible if I didn't wreck like 16 times this this flight. Or this video, I guess. But yeah, let's see. Columbus approach, cleared through Charlie airspace, excellent. Airspace. Red Bull airspace. Just get an air race. Although, speaking of which, Red Bull air race, the Talladega thing actually reminded me of that. The Red Bull air race was in Texas Motor Speedway. I got to see that once. Super incredible. Those things landed inside the track, took off inside the track, did their whole race. I mean, it was just incredible. Like, the precision that those guys were flying with. And you try to do it in like a sim, and I feel like a simple thing, right? Like just doing a barrel roll, simple barrel roll. I either over rotate or under rotate. I like try to predict it so I don't over rotate, then I under rotate. It's a mess. Or I have like a secondary like correction at the end, and there's just no chance that your boy has that kind of skill. But I totally enjoy it. It is incredible what those pilots can do, both physically and just skill and technically wise with the aircraft. So very awesome. That's one of those that I enjoy spectating and am not super interested in recreating. You know, I think everybody kind of has that sport. Like track, I think, is probably most people's, right? Everyone's like, yeah, USA, like right now with the Olympics going on, USA. But if you ask anybody, like, do you want to be an Olympic runner or an Olympic, you know, track star, they'd be like, absolutely not. Or you get the other reaction, which is, well, yeah, I wish I could run that fast. But, I mean, really, how many of us enjoy running? I mean, come on. I don't think that that's probably one of the more popular things that people want to do. But, or like alligator wrestling, or the catfish thing where they put their arm like inside of a catfish and pull it out. That's just, that blows my mind. I guess I also don't understand it. I'm sure it's a cultural thing, but I just don't understand what possesses someone to do that, and even how you do. And I guess I just don't have the desire to recreate it. But from what I understand and from what I've seen, it makes incredibly entertaining television. I don't know how repeatable or repeatably enjoyable it is, but enjoyable television nonetheless. So, yeah, one of those things. Same thing with the Red Bull air races. Like, I think it's incredible, very talented, enjoy watching, not interested in recreating. Now, maybe a ride along, that'd be interesting. I think that'd be incredible. I'd probably pass out 500 times. You know, they'd teach you the breathing exercises and the clinching exercises, and I would try that and I'd still pass out. But super cool what they do. It's kind of like airline pilots. I don't know, like, I see an Airbus or like a 747, even the CRJ 700s, which I've flown on a lot of those. I just can't imagine flying a plane that big. Maybe the CRJ, but like the A320s, A321s, 747s, 787s. I can't even. I mean, you have a co-pilot, which I understand, but I just can't even fathom. You know, I have a brother who flew C-130s, and it's like you walk in one or you see one, and those things are massive. It's incredible that something like that even gets it. Every time I fly, I am just blown away that something so massive and heavy even gets off the ground. Even as an engineer who like understands that there are like fairly well understood and accepted principles of aerodynamics in flight. which caused that to be a successful product and process and exercise. Still find it incredible that something so large and heavy even gets off the ground. So, engineering marvel that I love experiencing. But let's take another quick look here. We're about 6 minutes out. Take another quick look at our fuel. We're at under 15 on that side and under 15 on that side. So I think we're going to be about even when we come into land, which is great. We're bleeding quite a bit of fuel off. I think it's 24 and a half, 24 and a half total. So we're talking, what, 49 gallons? And we're approaching like under 30 now. So we're burning the fuel, you know. Kind of interesting that we even get fuel economy this good. Like you can fly that. This is a long way. When I compare it to driving, this is a long way. This is not a short trek. So it's taking a long time, but it's faster than driving, and it is not taking as much fuel as I expected. 49 gallons. I'm thinking, how many times do I stop to fill up? Depending on what vehicle I'm in, probably 3 times. So I'm going, if I'm in a fairly fuel efficient car, probably doing just under or just over 50 gallons. So about 50 gallons for the whole trip. And if I'm in like diesel truck, I'm closer to 4, maybe 5 stops. Probably just 4, but 4 stops, not including actually leaving with fuel. But and that's, you know, bigger tank and closer to like 80 plus gallons. But well, not including the one. So 80. We'll say 80 to 100 gallons. Either way, you know. Oh, I have a visitor. I have the heavy breathing and licking you're hearing is the aviation pup Shelby. Always loves to pop her little feet up and give me hugs and kisses during flights, and sometimes while racing, which I find to be a more I find to be more impressive than just normally racing or flying. You know, how many pilots do you know that have a dog sitting in their lap, breathing all in their face while they're trying to make it happen? I don't know many, but love you, pup. But yeah, let's see here. We're gonna start hand flying the airplane. We're gonna drop down to about 10 on the inlet manifold pressure. We're gonna drop altitude fairly quick, not too quick, but fairly quick, down to about 2,000 feet on our left altimeter. We are going to go full screen here. We'll just run with the, actually what we'll do is bearing pointers, GPS, cool. So now we know M51 is about 5.5 miles away. Continue decreasing our altitude. There's an airport right there. Yeah. We'll just dive in. I'm just kidding. We won't do that. But let's get down here to about 2,000 feet. Hopefully that will help. And we may, depending on the conditions, need to reevaluate and go to an airport that's well documented and easy to see. Because the visual conditions right now are not ideal. They're not ideal at all, especially for trying to see a grass strip if it's nestled into a bunch of trees. If the runway is super short, which as a matter of fact we can tell. That's not what I wanted. Let me just zoom out here. So we got 2,500 feet. Not a lot of room to make a mistake. I mean, we are light on fuel now, and the braking has been improved. Also, just FYI, we're going to go below the 2,000-foot ceiling just to try to get under some of these clouds. But, matter of fact, I think we'll head down to 1,500 feet and hope for the best. But no, I mean, that is going to be a little bit of a tall order depending on how well it's marked, how much cloud cover we're dealing with. Gonna level out here. M51 appears to be straight on the course ahead, so So that's good. That's good. Try not to decrease altitude too much. We're going to keep decreasing just because we are about 2-ish miles out. But I suspect it's going to be one of these little fields over here. Somewhere, maybe right here. Shit. I don't know. But yeah, we are going to want to make sure that we have the best opportunity possible to see clearly the runway. Again, looks like heading 276 actually. It's kind of funny that we're getting a different indication on the GPS reading, but we'll stay true to the M51 reading here. And it doesn't look like it's actually updating super well, so we're at 1.7 nautical miles from there. So we're getting close. We will, I was going to go straight through and just view on this screen, but I think just to be safe, we are going to do that just so we know exactly when we're crossing and if we're going to be able to safely land, because we are low, like the shotties get low. That's on par with my camping intense joke. So I think we're going to have it had a north to south approach here, but we'll see. It looks like, honestly, right there, I think it's right there. And if that's the case, I think we got some options here, and I think we can do it. I'm gonna believe that right there is our airstrip, and we could come at it at a diagonal or straight north to south. I'm gonna go for the diagonal approach. In my opinion, we're coming from the direction where we can see the best if we are either coming from the east or coming from the north. We'll fly north a little bit here to see if the visibility is good enough to turn around and make this approach work. Otherwise, we're going to be a little bit up a creek. I think the only way this works is if we take an east to west approach or a north to south approach, pending the visibility here, because we are not that high off the ground. Like, we are flying pretty low here. We got to make sure we get it right. We are going to go full rich mixture. Not interested in peak lean mixture right now. We are trying to make sure we land and are confident with our kind of whole deal here. So just make sure we don't overspeed. We're just going to do a little decrease. Normally we do a little bit more than that, but let's go ahead and turn around. Giving ourselves a pretty big approach. We're at about 80 knots indicated, which is perfect. That's what I like to be at. Getting set up. We have no flaps up. Come up just a little bit to slow up. We were starting to pick up speed on the descent. Okay, so I believe we are headed right for it. I think that's right ahead of us. I'm pretty comfortable, pretty confident with our ability right now. Let's throw the flaps down. There we go. One set of flaps. We're going to decrease down to idle speed, maybe give it about 2 extra intake manifold pressure support here. Okay, yeah, we definitely got some wind here. But this is going to be good. Here we go. I think the other one would have been longer, which would have been ideal, but I'm happy with this. I am happy with this so far. There we go. Perfect. Was able to get that. Was one of in some of the least ideal conditions. One of my best landings here. Okay. Let's spin this bird around. Alright. I honestly wish I had recorded that. I still have the recording up from the Talladega lap, so I didn't want to Didn't want to lose that, and we were trying to get here landed. But I am pleased with that landing. There's a couple little bounces, but we were going downhill. These aren't actually like monster bush tires. These are pretty good size, but they're not monster bush tires or anything. So I'm okay with the you know, couple skips here and there. Not a big deal. I feel like the fact that we were able to modulate the brakes and keep it on the front wheels and slow it down. So like what I'm looking for, just FYI, and I don't know that this is what I should be looking for, but it is what I'm looking for. Once I get down to about 40 or so knots, I'm trying to get the plane under that 40 knot mark so I can keep it from coming off the ground, because I don't want it to like obviously take off. So once I start getting into the 30s, I'm like full stick back to keep the plane from nosing forward. And now that I can modulate the brakes, I'm not at such a huge risk for nose overing the plane end over end, because beforehand there's like so much braking, because I was pretty much either all or none. It was very much this like weird balance of keeping the nose straight, like not nosing up yet, so that the brakes would work, but nosing up some so that the brakes wouldn't nose the plane into the ground. And then all the while also knowing that I need to like not keep taking off. So it's just an interesting kind of deal all in all to try to figure out. It's a balance, but it's so much better with the brakes being the way they are now, because now it's like, okay, I can just use a little bit of brake once I touch down to start slowing the plane down. Once I'm settled, then I can use a little bit more brake, and then once I get the plane slowed to a reasonable speed, I can nose the plane back, full brakes, and we're on all three wheels using all the brake power that we need to get where we need to get, and everybody's happy. So all in all, I'm super pleased with that, super pleased with the progress we've made here today. And here we are. What a beautiful place to land. Super glad it worked out, because if it was going to be a super short runway with high trees around, it's going to be difficult for us to make that work. So really fun landing, really great place to land. Gave us some choices to make on which approach we had, and all in all, thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up, we're going to be going to Louisiana. Maybe going through Shreveport just to hit the casinos, just to see what textures they have. I might go see if there's any freeware for Shreveport, and then going down to New Orleans, seeing if we can get any good scenery down there. And then it's off to Texas. So next episode, we'll definitely make it to Louisiana from Bama here, or sorry, Mississippi, from Mississippi here. And then from there, we'll just have to see. Maybe we fly down the Mississippi River, follow the coast, hit Nolens, up to Shreveport. Who knows? There's a million different routes we can take, and they're all going to be awesome. So hope you enjoyed. Anything that you can think of that you'd enjoy to see as well, feel free to drop it in the comments, and we will see you next time.